Motoring 2011 on TSN is brought to you by Quaker State, Real Durable Oil, and Michelin, a better way forward.
It's beautiful, isn't it? And if you're guessing Southern California, you're close. We're in San Jose, Los Cabos, Mexico, on the very southern tip of the Baja Peninsula. And they tell me that for 12 months of the year down here, the weather is simply beautiful, something us northerners can only dream about. Now, we're here for the launch of the brand new BMW 6 Series. Now, you might ask yourself, why come all the way down here to launch a vehicle? Well, up in Canada, especially where I live, we just came off one of the most miserable, cold winter and springs that I can remember. And with this car, BMW did not want to take any chances, because this 6 Series is the cabriolet, or as common folk like to refer to it, a convertible.
The vehicle is all new inside and out. It's equipped with a 400 horsepower, 450 pound-foot of torque V8 engine. 0 to 60 is 4.9 seconds. In the interior, everything's angled 7 degrees towards the driver, so you get that real driver orientation. It's a huge deal for us. The 6 Series basically epitomizes style, luxury, and driving performance. So coming with the new model, we had to live up to what our customers expect and hopefully attract some more customers to the brand. So what we did is we made the vehicle a little longer, a little wider, and a little lower. And all of that comes to enhance our 50-50 weight distribution, our driving performance, so the vehicle feels as a BMW 6 Series should.
The new 6 Series is longer, wider, and much heavier than its predecessor, but obviously nobody has told the powertrain this. Those 400 horses and the BMW dynamic drive system turn this vehicle into a roadster. Unbelievable, and you've got normal, comfort, sport, and sports plus, and boy, you put in that sport plus and you have a lot of fun in this convertible. Now, the 6-speed manual does come as a no-cost option. However, BMW believes that unlike Europe, most North Americans, including us Canadians, will be opting for the 8-speed automatic.
In Europe, a lot of people still drive stick, but it depends also now. It depends on what kind of automatic gearbox you're offering. Now you have an 8-speed automatic gearbox, and it shifts perfectly. So of course you will also expect that the take rate here will stay high with automatic, and also in Europe the take rate of the 8-speed automatic gearbox will be high.
It's the N63 engine, the 400 horsepower V8, twin turbocharged, that launched on the X6 50i model and has subsequently been brought to the 7 Series, the 750i and Li, as well as the 5 Series 550i and 550 xDrive. We've stayed with the soft top, and there's a few reasons for that. One is that you get full trunk space when you have a soft top versus a hard top. 2, we saw from our customer research that our customers really weren't asking for a retractable hard top, and it also helps with our 50-50 weight distribution. Adrian Van Hooydonk, who's our head of design, he said the inspiration for designing this vehicle was water, the movement and the flow and the beauty of water. And I think when you look at the vehicle from the outside and the inside, you can see that a little bit when you know it, because the lines on the hood, the strong shoulder line, everything has a really nice flow to it. The competition is the Mercedes-Benz SL and the Porsche 911, as well as the Jaguar XK.
Personally, I'm a convertible guy. I love driving with the top down, and this car it's basically a true grand touring vehicle. In the States, this car is 60% convertible and 40% coupe, and in Canada it's about 50-50. So it's pretty popular car. The 4.4 liter V8 is just like silk, as is the transmission, and I mean this whole car is like they smoothed it out. The styling is more conservative, and I think it appeals to a broader audience, because the other one was pretty contentious.
You know, the styling of the new 6 Series is indeed conservative. Now, you're looking at the rear end of the coupe, which comes out later this fall. No complaints, but when you look at the tail end of the cabriolet, am I the only one that sees a Sebring? Now, speaking of the coupe, as I mentioned, it doesn't come out until the fall, which is a bit unusual. Most manufacturers will lead off with the hard top, followed by the soft top, but not BMW.
Well, actually, that's right. Actually, it's the first time I think that we actually came first with a cabriolet, but it makes a lot of sense because right now it's springtime. Springtime the cabriolet comes, and then in autumn we have the coupe. So for the season, actually, it makes a lot of sense. Obviously, we're not going to make the same volume as with a 3 Series or a 5 Series, but it's a car really for somebody who loves cars. It's a cabriolet, a big cabriolet, and there's going to be a coupe to follow. So it's really something for automobile enthusiasts.
I don't mean this as a reflection on your driving, but, well, more later on Kenzie's Corner.
When it debuted in 1973, it sold just 747 units. Time, however, has proved it to be very popular. In fact, it's been so popular, it's Canada's favourite car, and it has been for the last 13 years. On this edition of Test Drive, the 9th generation Honda Civic. The irony here is that in spite of all the improvements that have been made to the new Civic, it could lose that best-selling crown this year. No, not because of the spurious reasons being bandied about by some pundits, but simply because of the tsunami that basically destroyed Japan earlier this year. The disaster is holding up the flow of parts needed at Honda's Alliston, Ontario assembly plant where the Civic is built. Go figure, the competition couldn't knock the Civic off. Mother Nature might just do it. A lot of people have accused Honda of not pushing the stylistic envelope far enough with this new Civic. Well, it does have a fresher face, and these cut lines in the hood do serve to differentiate old from new. But believe it or not, 90% of this car is actually all new. And one of the biggest improvements, right here. This A-pillar has been thinned down appreciably. That and the extra glass bring much better visibility. The underpinnings have been thoroughly reworked. To begin with, the Civic's handling has been sharpened without sacrificing ride quality. The improved body rigidity, which is up 11% dynamically, certainly helps matters. Through the pylons, the Civic bobbed and weaved and only started to slip into understeer as the limit neared. For a family sedan, the handling and response to driver input is more than composed and still class-leading. As with the exterior, the interior changes are subtle. The materials are better and there is more content. When you look at the dash, it's the same two-tier configuration. The lower half is the tack and all the warning lights. The upper section, you get the digital speedo and fuel gauge. There is, however, an addition, a 5-inch screen that sits over on the right side of the binnacle. Now it shows Bluetooth and radio status. It also has a trip computer, and it gives you any of the warnings. As for the rest of it, well, this is an EXL with navigation. So you get navigation system, power moonroof, leather seats. It comes very nicely equipped and for less than 25 grand. The regular Civic Coupe and Sedan arrive with a 1.8-litre 4 that pushes 140 horsepower and 128 pound-feet of torque. A 5-speed manual is the standard transmission, with a 5-speed automatic being optional on all but the EXL tested here. The fuel economy has been improved by 12% and now rates at a miserly 7.2 litres per 100 kilometres in the city. One of the things that's always impressed me about the Civic is the efficiency of the interior. Now, I've got this driver's seat all the way back. There's still some legroom, plenty of headroom. There's enough width for 2 to sit in comfort and 3 at a squeeze, primarily because there's no central tunnel. You also get 70/30 split folding rear seats, and through there, 11.7 cubic feet of cargo space. The drive of choice, however, is the Civic Si. It is a hoot. The 2.4-litre engine delivers 201 horsepower and 170 pound-feet of torque, which is a 22% improvement. The power is put to pavement through a close-ratio 6-speed manual box, a limited slip differential, and P215 45R17 tyres. Likewise, the SI's handling is sharper, and the drive has a more planted feel than the base models. So should Honda have changed the styling a little more? Of course they should, but for the average Civic buyer, I don't think it matters, because the bottom line, this is a better car. Tighter handling, much nicer content, and it's far more fuel efficient. And of course, if you're looking for a little driving spice, there's always the Civic Si.
Electric cars, great idea. I ain't buying, and I'll tell you why on motoringtv.com.
It's a beautiful thing here in the city. It reminds me back home in Athens, Greece, growing up and having the small Fiat cars. So having Italian presence in New York City, especially now with all the oil crisis, is something that's going to resonate with a lot of people.
We talked to one of the female reporters yesterday, and she mentioned that, is this going to be a chick car? What's your reaction when you hear that kind of talk?
Well, I don't like too much to hear this, because it's not even near. And obviously, if you look at the drivers, the majority is still male. And at BMW, I think we don't make really a difference whether man or female driving it. For us, it's important that we have true car lovers. We call them really BMW fans.
I think this is going to be a chick car for sure. But if my wife owned one of these, I'd take it out. Yeah.
Convertibles are chick cars. One vote says yes and one vote says no. And I know just the man who can break the tie, and that's our man in the Quaker State Garage, Bill Gardner.
Brad, you know what? I just don't like that terminology, cabriolet. But whether it's a cabriolet or convertible, I don't think that's the determination of whether it's a chick car or not. And I'll give you a perfect example. Ford Mustang, car that I really love. If it's got a V6 engine, a convertible top, and an automatic transmission, I say it's a chick car. But if it's got a convertible top, a V8, and a standard transmission, it's a man's machine. So, Brad, I need some more information. This week, I want to talk about nitrogen inflation of your tires. Now, nitrogen was discovered way back in 1772 by a Scottish physician named Daniel Rutherford. It's the 5th most abundant element in our universe. It makes up 78% of our Earth's atmosphere, and it's 70% of the air we breathe is nitrogen. Now, pure nitrogen is extremely effective in a number of industries. It's used as a shielding gas for certain types of welding and soldering. It's also used in the semiconductor industry for shielding. It's used to inflate tires in military aircraft and commercial jets exclusively. It's used by IndyCar, Formula One, and NASCAR to inflate the tires on their race cars. But it can be beneficial to you and I as an inflation medium for the tires on our everyday vehicles because of a number of its inherent qualities. Now, a nitrogen molecule is 3 to 4 times slower to migrate through the carcass of a tire than air. We lose about 1 psi of inflation pressure on our tire every month just by air migrating through the carcass. 3 to 4 times slower with nitrogen, so we're going to maintain whatever inflation pressure we set on that tire much longer with nitrogen. Nitrogen also inherently is cooler. It dissipates heat, air holds heat. So our tire runs cooler in the summer, which could be a distinct advantage on a heavily loaded vehicle, a high performance vehicle, anything that's driven fast, long distances, or high speeds with high loads in the summertime. Nitrogen is a definite advantage. That'll make your tires last longer, less likely to fail, and by maintaining the inflation pressure, our vehicles are going to deliver better fuel economy. Now, whenever you see a tire that's got a green valve cap, that is used to denote a tire that's being inflated with nitrogen. It has to go to a special filling station. When you're purchasing new tires, it's a fairly inexpensive upgrade, about $5 per tire when you're purchasing a new tire, $12 to $15 to retrofit an older car. Now, nitrogen inflation is not for everyone. If you're motoring on a budget, probably not for you. If your car and or your tires are older and likely to be replaced, probably not for you. But if you demand the ultimate in performance from your car or your truck and you want to get that last little bit of life out of your tires, the extra safety and the fuel economy that's associated with it, nitrogen's a relatively inexpensive upgrade that's going to do something for you. So think about it next time you're purchasing or servicing your tires. Nitrogen can be beneficial. For example, a minivan like this that could be heavily loaded could be the difference between, the tires lasting, say, 80,000 K and lasting 100 or 120,000 K. Till next week, I'm Bill Gardner for Motoring 2011.
The University of Waterloo has produced its 10th generation of the Midnight Sun solar car and are ready to take their $250,000 project to the other side of the planet.
I'd like to start off, first of all, by thanking all of you for being here today.
Today's been our official unveiling of our 10th generation car for the Midnight Sun solar car team.
2, 1.
We invited all of our major sponsors and they've come out to see the car for the first time. We gave it a spin around Ring Road, just around our campus. So it's the first time it's officially been driven and everyone's been able to come out and see it. So a lot like a regular car, it is with a steering wheel, an accelerator pedal, brake pedal, so it feels a lot like the handling of a regular car. The turning radius is slightly different, so adjusting to that is a definite essential part of driving it. It's also a bit more bumpy than a normal driver might be accustomed to. Temperature-wise, since we will be in the Australian outback and it gets to about 40 degrees outside, so inside the car is probably about 10 degrees higher than that.
With everyone going greener these days, the whole concept of the electric car is nothing new. But this solar car has achieved a record of worldwide proportions.
So the world record was set by the 7th generation solar car for traveling the longest distance on solar power energy around the perimeter of North America. It traveled over 15,000 kilometers in its journey. The goal of this car is to race at the World Solar Challenge, which is going to take place in October of 2011. And it is a 3,000 kilometer race across the Australian outback from the top of the continent from Darwin down to the south in Adelaide.
Funny looking is certainly a great adjective to describe the solar car. And its aerodynamic form has certainly produced some interesting reactions.
A lot of people have never seen a solar car before. They don't know what it is. When they see it driving down the road, they think it's a UFO or an alien spacecraft, and people will stick their cell phones out the window and just be in awe and just taking pictures. And even sometimes we've had some calls to local police authorities. Everyone's very excited from here on out. We've entered and confirmed our spot at the World Solar Challenge, and now it's just up to the students to make it there and get the car there, and then hopefully we'll finish top 5.
Closed captioning of Motoring 2011 is brought to you by
Greener, fuel efficient, global. This is Chevrolet Now. Driving our world forward.
Isn't it scary when you see people driving down the highway like this? Or worse still, like this? I mean, at 100 kilometers an hour, half a second, you're covering half a football field. Why are people looking behind them? Because they have to see what's in their blind spot. Now, some new cars have blind spot warning systems, cameras that scan these areas. If there's something out there, it'll flash a warning light or beep something on your dashboard. Well, you don't need $6,000 worth of technology to tell you something in your blind spot. You've got a blind spot warning system. It's your side view mirrors. The problem is most people are taught to adjust them incorrectly. They're told to adjust them so you can see the side of your own car. Well, when's the last time the side of your own car ever hit you? It's the car beside the side of your own car. Now, we've got this right side mirror set up so we can see the side of our own car, but look what we're not seeing. So the way to adjust the mirrors correctly is sit in your normal position, but move your head so it's just about to the side glass. Then when you adjust this mirror so you can just barely see the side of your own car, that's pretty much exposing your blind spot. For the right side, you do the same thing, except you lean this way, and that's kind of a starting position. Now, you may have to adjust it a bit depending on where you sit, how tall you are, how long your car is, but that's where you begin. Another way to think of it is these are 3 pieces of the same mirror. Let me demonstrate. So now with the mirrors adjusted correctly, I start in the peripheral vision on the left-hand side of the car. As I move further to the rear, I come into the field of view of the left side view mirror, no blind spot. When I move behind the car, I'm now in the field of view of the rear view mirror. Moving further to the right, I'm now in the field of view of the right side view mirror, no blind spot. And when I move further forward, I come into field of view of the driver's peripheral vision on the right-hand side. 180 degrees of visibility. There is no such thing as a blind spot if you have these things adjusted correctly. Now, this isn't just me. The Society of Automotive Engineers did a paper on this subject, geometrically proving that this is the way to do it. It's different than what you've been taught. It'll take some adjustment. You may have to fine-tune it on the highway so you can see cars moving from here to the left-hand side. But trust me, I've had people tell me that in 50 years of driving, it's the most important single driving tip they've ever received. So not only have I saved you $6,000, I might just have saved your life too. I'm Jim Kenzie.
You know, I drive a lot of cars every year, and it's really hard to find something wrong with a car worth over $100,000, and that includes the new BMW 6 Series. Now, when it comes to design, it's okay. It works. The interior, it's okay too. It works. It's luxurious. The question is, can you find the same design features on cars a lot cheaper? The answer to that is yes. But where this car really comes to life is in the execution. Yes, there's 400 horsepower and tons of torque, but it's more than that. It's the money that's spent on the technology that allows you to drive the sweet spot of this car 100% of the time. And let me tell you, that sweet spot is a lot of fun. Now, I know there's some viewers out there now saying, hey, Brad, they're only going to sell 500 of these vehicles in Canada every year. Why waste the airtime? Well, variety is the spice of life. We do try and give you a cross-section of vehicles, and maybe more importantly, people that drive cars that are worth over $100,000, they too have cable TV. So there you go. That's it for now. We'll see you next time out as we continue to bring you more stories about cars and the people who drive them.
5 years ago, if somebody said, would you recommend buying a Kia, I'd have to laugh at them and decline to answer. Today, I can honestly say, Optima, not a problem. The version with the 2.4 liter direct injected gas engine, it's great. It does everything well. The turbo does it even better.
Motoring 2011 on TSN has been brought to you by Quaker State, Real Durable Oil, and Michelin, a better way forward.